I asked you for your questions, and today I'm going to answer some of them. It's time for another Q&A. So today we are doing Q&A number 2, and I'm really excited for this because I did my first Q&A a little while back, and it was a new format that I want to try out on this channel because I'd never done it here before, and a lot of you said that you really liked it, so this is a thing that we're going to keep doing periodically. So today I'm taking questions that some of you left on the previous Q&A video and also from a post that I did on Instagram, and that's a good side note here actually. If you want to know when I'm doing these Q&As or when I'm taking questions, or if you want to submit your questions, you can leave them below this video for the next Q&A, and you can also follow me on Instagram so that when I post and I ask for questions, you can leave them there. And today we have a nice mix of some food and nutrition questions and some personal questions, so let's jump right into it. And the first question we have says, love the Q&A format. I've recently heard that eating gluten can make arthritis worse. I guess there have been some studies showing that eliminating gluten may ease rheumatoid arthritis, but what about osteoarthritis? Does gluten in the diet have any impact on osteoarthritis? Do any other foods exacerbate symptoms? I'm curious about your thoughts on this and if it is a valid concern or just hype. Thanks. And just a little note here before we start digging into anything, as with all of my videos, this information here is not intended to treat or diagnose or cure any sort of condition, and it's not a replacement for advice from your doctor or dietitian or other healthcare provider. This is just for general information purposes only. So this question has a few different parts, so I'm going to try to break it down for you. The first thing we really need to talk about is the difference between osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. Osteoarthritis happens because of wear and tear on your joints. So most often this is going to be because of age. Just over the course of a life, as time goes on, your joints are doing a lot of work and they can start to get worn down, and that cushioning between your joints can start to become damaged or just worn down from time. It could also happen though if you have some sort of injury. And so this wear and tear on your joints can lead to osteoarthritis, and that causes you to have joint pain and stiffness in your joints. Rheumatoid arthritis, on the other hand, is an autoimmune condition. So because it's an autoimmune condition, that means it's your body attacking itself. So your body cells are attacking those tissues in your joints, and you're having inflammation all around the joint. And so that is what's causing the pain and stiffness with that condition. So now that we know the difference between those two, how does gluten fit into all of this? Well, celiac disease, which is an allergic reaction to gluten, is an autoimmune condition. So what's happening with celiac disease is similar to rheumatoid arthritis. Your body is attacking itself. But with celiac disease, the gluten is the thing that sets this whole process off, and then the body starts attacking the lining of your small intestine. And people with celiac disease can then also have different pains and symptoms throughout their body, including joint pain. So when it comes to a connection between gluten and rheumatoid arthritis, there could be a couple things happening here. So we don't have any evidence that gluten causes rheumatoid arthritis, but say someone is having joint pain and they think they have rheumatoid arthritis, or maybe even their doctor says, hey, I think maybe rheumatoid arthritis might be what's going on here. Say then that person takes gluten out of their diet and their symptoms get better. They might think, oh, well, gluten was causing my rheumatoid arthritis, when really that person has celiac disease and they don't know it. So they think that taking the gluten out is curing rheumatoid arthritis, or at least helping with the symptoms, when really what's happening is that person has celiac disease, so taking the gluten out is helping with the symptoms. So since the symptoms are similar, you might think you have one thing when you really have the other, and then you think that the gluten is helping when it is helping taking it out, but it's for another reason. It's because that person has celiac disease, not because they have rheumatoid arthritis. Something else that can be happening here is an overlap of conditions. So having one autoimmune disease can put you at higher risk for having other autoimmune diseases. So someone who has celiac disease, which is an autoimmune condition, might be more likely to also have rheumatoid arthritis and vice versa. So because that person might have both of these things, and because we have this overlap in symptoms with the joint pain, someone who has rheumatoid arthritis might find that when they have gluten, they feel like their rheumatoid arthritis is getting worse, when really it's a symptom of the celiac disease. And because we're having this overlap of condition, overlap of symptoms, that's why it can get get a little confusing and it might feel like the gluten is what's helping with the rheumatoid arthritis. So that's why you may have heard something about a connection between rheumatoid arthritis and gluten. But your question is really about osteoarthritis. So how does that come into all of this? So because osteoarthritis is wear and tear, it's not an autoimmune disease like rheumatoid arthritis. We're not going to see that overlap with celiac disease. And there really isn't any specific dietary change you can make that's going to cure osteoarthritis. Now, there are a few things that might help a bit. The big thing is just having a diet that has anti-inflammatory foods in it, because when we're talking about arthritis, we're talking about a type of inflammation. So including things like fruits and vegetables, omega-3 fats, those anti-inflammatory foods may help with the symptoms a bit, but again, there really isn't any dietary intervention that's going to make a huge difference with osteoarthritis or cure it in any way. On to the next question, and this question says, so my husband and I just had our first baby. Are you and Jason planning on having any kids? And the answer to this is yes, eventually. This is not an announcement video. I don't have anything to tell y'all right now, but we do want to have kids in the future. That's something that we definitely agree on, is something that we want to happen eventually. We don't have a specific timetable for that or anything, but in the future we hope to have children. Next up, this question says, this was a fun video to watch. I have a question. I hope it makes it on the next Q&A. What do you think about intermittent fasting? From what I've learned, and in my own opinion, it just appears to be another fad diet and an excuse not to adopt a permanent healthy lifestyle change. I've been hearing from people that the body does better, whatever that means, when it's in a fasting state over relatively long periods of time, and that just sounds silly to me. So before we get into this answer, I do have a whole video on intermittent fasting, which is going to go into a lot more detail, so I will link that video for you if you missed it or if you need a refresher. I will warn you, the comment section over there is pretty interesting. Let's just say it struck a chord with some people. So that's fun, but that whole video is there if you want more information on this topic. And really, there's even more that I could add to that one probably, just because it is such a hot topic right now and people have so many questions about it, and there's so many different things we can talk about when it comes to intermittent fasting. But briefly, for the purpose of this video, I'm not a fan of intermittent fasting. It's not something I'm into. It's not something I promote or recommend with my clients. No, not into it. There's a lot of different reasons for that. One thing I think is important to know about intermittent fasting is we don't have a lot of research on it. A lot of people who promote intermittent fasting act like there's all this research, and it's like, if you're not doing it, you're just ignoring the truth because it's just written out there in black and white that this is the best thing for everyone. But really, we have some research in animals. We have a little bit of research in people, not a lot, and the research that we do have in humans is mostly really short-term stuff. And then when you combine the lack of information we have with what we do know about diets in general and how restriction affects us psychologically and physically, it's just not something that I can recommend. Now, with that said, some research does point to a 12-hour fast as potentially being beneficial for just people in general, or even certain conditions. There's research into that too, like certain medical conditions, how fasting could impact those. So a 12-hour fast is something you might hear about, but really to me, that's just normal living to have a 12-hour fast. I don't really consider that a fast, and I think for most people, when they think of fasting, they're not thinking about a 12-hour window of not eating. Because if you think about it, if you have dinner at 7 p.m., okay, and then you have to clean up your dishes and put stuff away and whatever, and then maybe you do something in the evening to relax, or if you have kids, maybe you're doing bath time, whatever, bedtime, getting kids ready for school, then you get yourself ready for bed and do kind of your evening routine, get in the bed at 10 p.m., go to sleep for 8 hours, wake up at 6, and then you do your morning stuff. You go to the bathroom, maybe you have to walk your dog, or, you know, take a shower, the little things you're gonna get done, and then you have breakfast at 7 a.m. That's a 12-hour fast, and that's not trying to not eat. That's just, you had dinner, you went to bed, you woke up, and you had breakfast. Now, this is not me telling you that you need to have a 12-hour fast every day and you need to be timing your dinner and your breakfast and this is something to worry about. It's not. I'm just saying that, you know, some of the research looks at that and says, oh, 12-hour fast, that's good, but really that's just a typical kind of eating and living pattern that your average person would have. It's not like something you have to try to make happen, nor is it something that I would recommend that you try to make happen, because there's also individual factors, and this is something that I've actually had several of my clients ask about. They're like, oh, should I stop eating at a certain time to give my body a break from food, or, you know, so I can have this fasting window, or is eating late at night bad? All those kinds of questions. And the answer is just eat when you're hungry. So for example, I've had clients before say, well, you know, I have this class at the gym and it goes 6:30 to 7:30, and then I come home and I haven't had dinner and it's 8 o'clock and I'm really hungry, but I've heard that you shouldn't eat after 7 o'clock or you shouldn't eat after 8 o'clock, so then I feel like I just shouldn't eat. But I'm really hungry, but I just skipped that meal. No, that doesn't make any sense. You haven't had dinner yet, you're hungry, you just worked out. Just because you have a late night at work or school, or you're at a fitness class or whatever, and you get home a little later, doesn't mean that you shouldn't eat dinner. So again, there's individual factors that come into this too. So I'm not telling y'all to have a 12-hour fast or anything like that, but I did want to bring that up as an example because it might be something that you hear about. Moving on, the next question we have says, in your next Q&A, would you please tell us about your hair care routine? Your hair looks super healthy and beautiful. Well, thank you. And I can tell you about the products I use. Now, a couple disclaimers, you know, I haven't done any hardcore tests. This is what seems to work for me. Who knows if they all help me or make that much of a difference. Part of it, I think, is just kind of your natural hair texture and things. And also, you know, a lot of this is going to be individual. So if your hair is similar to mine, this stuff might be helpful for you. If it's not similar to mine, then it might not. As far as what my hair is like, my hair is naturally wavy, but not like a cute wave where I've got like lots of curls. It's just kind of like a frizzy wave. So I very rarely will you see me with my hair just air dried and then I go out. Even just kind of when I'm out and about, if I just let my hair air dry, then I throw it up in a ponytail or clip because I don't think it looks the best if I don't do anything to it. And y'all normally see me when I've got my makeup on and my hair done and everything, so either straightened or curled or whatever. Occasionally on live streams you'll see me with it just thrown up because I've just let it air dry. So that's what my texture is like. And also, I don't have a lot of hair, so my hair is short right now, but it's also just like thin and fine. I mean, if I pull my hair in a ponytail, the first time Jason saw me with my hair in a ponytail and we were like at a pool or water park situation when we were dating, he was like, and my hair was wet, he was like, why don't you have very much hair? Because his hair is super thick and his sister's hair is super thick. When my hair is in a ponytail, and especially when I'm in the pool or something like that, there's not much going on. Y'all can see it's very little hair. This is all my hair pulled together. So there isn't much happening, which means that I also don't have to use a lot of the products I use, which is pretty nice. So as far as what I actually do with my hair, first thing is I don't wash it every single day. I wash it at most every other day. Usually it's like every third day, sometimes every fourth day, depending on my schedule and my time, and if I feel like styling my hair or doing whatever to it or have time to wash it. So I don't wash my hair every day, and I think that probably helps some. Also, I don't style my hair every day. So again, y'all see me when my hair is done, but most days I'm not straightening it or curling it or anything like that. I'm just letting it air dry, and then if I'm just, you know, bopping around the house, then it just kind of stays down and whatever. Or sometimes if I do want to pull it up, then I'll pull it up in a clip or pull it up in a ponytail. So I'm not using heat on it every single day. I also very rarely blow dry my hair. The only time I really do it is if I'm in a time crunch and I gotta be somewhere by a certain time. But because of the way my work is, I do a lot of my work from home, I'm able to just let my hair air dry. And even times when I'm doing stuff outside of the home, a lot of times it'll be in the middle of the day or in the afternoon. So I still have time to let my hair air dry while I'm doing other things here, and then I can style it or just throw it up when I leave the house. So I think that probably helps too. As far as specific products, the shampoo and conditioner I use are Shea Moisture. It's their like castor oil. I'll put an image of it here, but I use that shampoo and conditioner, and it's supposed to be good for like damaged hair or dry hair or whatever, just to add moisture in. So I use that, and I like their products. I've been using that shampoo and conditioner for a while, and I like it because it seems to be pretty good quality stuff for not a lot of money. It's fairly affordable. It's not like super cheap, but it's not a high-end product either as far as price goes. And then it's also really accessible. I can find it at Walmart or Target or at the grocery store or whatever. It's not something that I have to hunt around for a specialty order. So that combination of things makes me like it. And my hair seems to do pretty well with it. So that's what I use as far as shampoo and conditioner. Then when I get out of the shower, when my hair is damp, I put a few different things in. Again, I don't know how much of a difference these things make. One of them I do know makes a big difference. Some of them I'm not sure, but this is just what I do. So the first is the Shea Moisture, it's like a leave-in conditioner. It's the same line as the shampoo and conditioner that I use. I need a very small amount of that stuff. So I just open it and I basically like touch 2 fingers and then work that into my hands and spread it through my hair. Just add a little more moisture. Because my hair is short and fine and thin, there isn't a lot going on here, so I just need a very, very little bit of most products, and especially that one because it's really rich. Then the next product I put in, and I work that in mostly into the bottom of my hair since it's moisturizing. Then I put in this Garnier Fructis Anti-Frizz stuff. I'm still in my first bottle of this, and I got it because someone else recommended it and said it was good. Again, I'm not sure if it's making a huge difference, but it's cheap and I don't have to use that much, so I put a little bit of that, rub that through my hands, and I put that mostly through the top of my hair and then work it down. And I use that because my hair, if it's super humid or if it rains or whatever, it's just like frizzy mess. This sleek, straightened look will be like phew, once the humidity hits. And being in Virginia, we get a lot of humidity, especially in the summertime. So I work that in. I feel like maybe it makes a difference. And then the third product I put in is the Tresemme Heat Protectant Spray. That stuff, I don't know what's in it. I put it in, I mean, it's a heat protectant, which is nice if I am gonna straighten or curl my hair or whatever later, but I put it in even if I'm not gonna use any hot products. I feel like there's a hair on my chin and I keep scratching it. Even if I'm not using any heating tools or whatever, hot tools, I still put that in because my hair is softer when I put it in. I don't know why that is. Maybe some of y'all, if you use that product, maybe you've had the same experience, but I find if I don't put that in and air dry, my hair is a lot less soft than if I do put it in. So I always spray that on my hair. So that's kind of my washing routine. When I do wash it, those are the things I put in. A couple other products I like. One is the Way Wave Spray. I really like that if I do want to air dry my hair but have it be, you know, wavy but a little more put together, have the curls a little more defined. That's really nice. I also have been playing around with the Way Memory Mist. I don't have a final verdict on that, but because my hair does not hold curl very well, I have to try some tricks to get the curls to stay in. One is to kind of curl it a little bit more than what I want so that it will, you know, be what I want eventually. But the memory mist is supposed to help your hair keep a curl for days. And because I've always seen people be like, oh, I curl my hair on one day and then I wear those curls for 3 days. And I'm like, what are you talking about? The next day my hair's just like straight or like maybe a little bit of wave. So I've been experimenting with that product. I can't give like a big like, yes, it's the best thing ever because I don't curl my hair that often, so I've only used it a couple times. And I'm just not sure if it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. I need to play around with it a little bit more. So that is something I use, but whether or not it's the magic product for me, I'm still not sure. The next question says, Sarah, I know it's kind of off topic, but I'm having a terrible time digesting salmon. I'm very underweight, so I'm not sure if it's that. Sardines hurt my stomach as well. Can you help? So with this, you know, there's a lot of different factors here and a lot more details we could get into, but there's a couple things that kind of come to mind for me. The first main thing is maybe some sort of trouble digesting fat specifically, because you mentioned salmon and sardines that are both fatty fish. That makes me think maybe it's a fat digestion absorption issue. And you mentioned that you're very underweight, so I'm not sure how that might be interacting with this. Is that because you are having some sort of like allergy or intolerance or eating disorder or other medical condition, something going on that is causing both of these things to happen, or maybe they're connected? So that could definitely be something to look into. The big thing is you want to go to your doctor and get this figured out, because in order to move forward, you need a diagnosis, and there could be a lot of different things going on that, you know, you need to get looked at, and we would want to be able to treat or stop in their tracks or do whatever you would need to do. So go to your doctor, start working on getting that diagnosis. They might refer you to some sort of specialist, maybe a GI doctor or something else, to look into this a little bit more. And then from there, once you start to dig into this and figure out what it is with their help, then you can start working with your doctor, working with the dietitian to figure out what is going to be the next step for you to, you know, work on this and help solve the problem once you've figured out what's actually happening. So go to your doctor, get that process started, and I hope that you're able to figure out what's going on and that that you feel better soon. Next question is, what made you want to be a nutritionist? Have you always been a healthy person? So I actually have a whole video on this too. I will link that for you if you want to check it out, where I talk about why I decided to become a dietitian. It's a little bit older one, but I think it's still good. And the kind of short version of this is that I've always been interested in health and food. They're just two things I've always liked, and I've always liked or been told that I had a gift for teaching and explaining things to people. So being a dietitian really was a combination of those things. It was food and health related, it involved teaching and educating and helping people, and so it was kind of that perfect mix of several different things that I enjoy. Next up we have, how do you deal with someone who might be considered morbidly obese or being told by their doctor that they have to lose weight? What advice do you give and how do you guide them? And I will preface this by saying that I haven't ever had someone specifically that came to me because their doctor said, you need to lose weight and you need to go see this person. I haven't had that like direct you know, like, this is what we're doing and this is why I'm here and this is what needs to happen because my doctor said so. But I have had a lot of clients where that has been a part of their concern. So maybe they have weight concerns, maybe their doctor has mentioned weight, maybe it's just something they themselves have concerns about. And so whether it was the specific scenario that you gave or, you know, what I've experienced with my clients, either way, I would handle it pretty much the same way. So the first thing is that I acknowledge that person's weight concerns. It's not like an off-limit topic. A lot of times it's a big topic in our conversations because it is something that's front of mind for them. It's a concern they have. So it's, you know, on the table for us to discuss, and it's something that definitely comes up in conversations. But with that said, I'm not putting a person on a restrictive diet or focusing on weight change as the goal of our sessions and our work together. It's something that may come up if it's a concern for them, but it's not what we're working on or something that we're actively trying to change. Instead, we focus on healthy habit change, tuning into their body's own inner cues. We also, a lot of times, will talk about body image or their relationship with food or their mindset around food. So that's the focus of what I'm doing. And nutrition, of course, comes up too, especially if someone has some sort of medical condition that's also intersecting with all the other work that we're doing. But it's nutrition as one thing to pay attention to when it comes to our food choices, not the only thing to pay attention to. And of course, all of this is customized to the person. So for some people, we might talk more about some of these things. For others, we might talk more about the others. For some people, it might be more of an even mix. It really just depends on that person, their specific situation, what they're dealing with, what they need help with. And if you're newer around here, you might be a little bit confused because you might be thinking, well, she's a dietitian, don't dietitians help with weight loss, or isn't weight loss really important, all those kinds of things. And this is a bigger topic that I've addressed in several different videos, and I will continue to address in a lot more videos to come because it is a big question that people have. But briefly, why I don't work on weight with people, well, there's a few different reasons. One, weight isn't a great indicator of health. A lot of times people use it as the stand-in for whether someone is healthy or not, but that really isn't what it is. Someone could be healthy or unhealthy in a variety of shapes and sizes. You know, so when we focus on weight, then we're really missing all the other stuff that's going on. And there's so many factors that do actually impact our health, like our environment and our choices around health and our genetics and all of these different things that are coming in to interact with each other. Also, focusing on weight can actually get in the way of health in a lot of different ways. It can lead to restrictive dieting. It can lead to an obsession with food, eating disorders, preoccupation with food. It can make people have a negative association with healthy foods or healthy behaviors. Sometimes people can actually start to not enjoy things like fruits and vegetables, which are great and they're delicious and they're wonderful because they have this association of that as being the diet food or the thing I have to eat, rather than something they eat just because they want to. And then also there's issues with weight cycling, people, you know, going up and down with their weight because of diets, which can be really damaging to our health. There's a lot of different other things that we could go on with this, but the main thing is that focusing on weight really isn't what I do. And I don't do it for a variety of reasons because which the overarching theme of those is that I don't think it really helps people. It doesn't help people improve their health, and I think it can actually harm health in a lot of different ways. Another thing to remember with this is that weight loss isn't an action. It's not a thing that a person can do. things that are actions are things like eating a variety of foods, getting an adequate amount of sleep, moving our bodies in ways that we enjoy, getting physical activity, managing stress, nurturing our relationships and our communities and things like that. Those are things that a person can do. Weight or weight loss is not an action, it's not a choice, it's not a decision that a person can make. So focusing on it can really get in the way of the things that someone can actually do that could really impact their health. So when I'm working with clients, that's what we focus on. And depending on the client, that can actually be a struggle for them to change the way they think about weight and the way they think about health and get over some of those hurdles of the kind of the paradigm that we live in, the way that people have been trained to think about food and nutrition and weight and health and all of these different things. So again, like I was saying earlier, all my work with my clients obviously is customized to them because it's just one-on-one work. And so depending on the person, a lot of the work that we do might be breaking down some of these ideas that they have about weight and starting to shift the way they're thinking about this stuff so they can really put in those healthy habits, those things that really make a difference with their health and make it something that's going to last for them. So that's it for Q&A number 2. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have other questions you'd like to see me answer in a Q&A video, then leave them in the comments of this video and you might just get your question answered. And if you happen to be new here and you want more healthy eating tips and nutrition info and videos like this one, then make sure that you subscribe, because eating healthy and living a healthy lifestyle really doesn't have to be complicated, and I want to show you how to do it. And if you want to watch some more videos, I have a couple linked over here that you might like. Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.